All right. Wonderful. Well, happy Friday, everyone. Glad to have you all here for our peek into SAP Business One. My name is Elizabeth. I work with Pioneer, and we work with different companies to get them up and running with SAP Business One. Some are migrating from older systems or systems like Excel, where they may not have everything they need to run their business the best that they can. So our goal, our purpose of today is to get you guys a view into SAP Business One and see if it could be a fit for you, or maybe discover some new functionality that you didn't know existed. So with that being said, I'm here today. We also have Oren from my team, who's here today as well, may contribute some little tips and tricks throughout.
Hello, everyone. Happy Friday. Happy to be here. Thank you, Beth.
All right, so first of all, in terms of our agenda, we are looking at, first just going to start with a little bit of background information about SAP Business One and what the value of a real ERP system can be for your business. After that, like always, we go straight into a live demo. I don't like to spend too much time on slides or anything, so we really like to get in the system and explore and show you around. And then after that, we do have some different resources to share to learn more about SAP, and Q&A at the end. Although if you have any questions throughout, feel free to pop them in the chat, and we'll answer them as we go. All right, so first and foremost, why explore an ERP system? So you may have, right now, you may have, Excel or some of those older systems. So what is the point in moving forward and exploring an ERP system? So mainly we see, common challenges being that your company might be, limiting its growth potential with your current system. Maybe your processes are really built around the limitations of your system rather than what your business really needs to run. So you're being held back in that way. And then also, you may see multiple disconnected processes, find that you're doing redundant data entry, there's a long time to generate financial reports, or that you have maybe limited visibility into your inventory. So some of these common pain points can really be a good driver for starting to look into an ERP system. So once you start your search, what really is a good ERP solution? What should you be looking for once you realize that there is a need for a system? So some of the benefits of having a good ERP solution being that you're able to take all of those maybe disconnected or siloed processes and bring them all together under one roof in one place, so that you have one central location for managing your business. You can, with all of that data in one place, your options are really unlimited. You're able to start providing better customer service. Now you're able to see, when a customer calls you on the phone, you're able to see where they fit in terms of your business. So what kind of sales have you done with them? What kind of phone calls and things like that? You really get an all-in-one picture of your customers, your vendors, all of that. You're also able to really, for a lot of companies, decrease their inventory levels and free up cash flow. You can improve accuracy, transparency, consistency of your data, and really remove some of the more manual or redundant processes. A lot of that user data entry that can cause some of the user error down the road. In terms of having a solution like that and removing, some of that error can be really beneficial. And then also on a high level, really being able to leverage the data that you have to start making actionable decisions, actionable insights and decisions for where to go next and help you on your growth. So with that in mind, of course, we're here to talk about SAP Business One. So SAP Business One is SAP's flagship ERP solution for small and mid-sized businesses. It's the #1 ERP solution in the small to mid-sized business world, and it's trusted by over 70,000 companies in running their business. implemented worldwide, and it's extremely flexible to help you and support you as you grow. SAP Business One, like we were saying, what you're looking for is a software solution to eliminate all of those other maybe siloed systems and bring all of your data together and all of your departments together in one centralized platform. And SAP Business One does just that. So now instead of having, maybe financials and QuickBooks and your inventory in another system, maybe some Excel sheets and all of that, you really have one central location to manage every aspect of your business: accounting, financials, production, all of that. It's also, some benefits come from the fact that it's all updated in real time. So now there's no lag between, documents being posted and those hitting your financial ledger. It's eliminating that need for redundant data entry into different systems, and really, again, just giving you visibility to everything, every aspect of your business under one roof. So once you get started with SAP Business One, it really is easy to set up, to use, and to optimize throughout, throughout your business journey with SAP Business One. It's tailored to meet the needs of small to mid-sized businesses. So with that, I mean that, there's really powerful out-of-the-box functionality. The user interface is very simple and easy to navigate. It's quick to deploy, and there's a low cost of ownership over the life of the product. And it is available both on-premise and as a cloud solution. So some other solutions in the small to mid-size market don't have that flexibility. It's really unique to SAP Business One. So you really get to decide how you want to manage that, managing in-house or in a cloud solution. All right, so we'll go ahead and get started with the live demo portion of this. So first, I just want to cover the user interface. So right now we're looking at a traditional desktop version of SAP Business One, but SAP can also be accessed through mobile apps and via web browsers as well. If you have any interest in looking into those mobile apps, I know on the Apple side, you can check those out in the App Store. They have some free demo versions. So if you are interested in getting to take a look at that, feel free to go to your App Store. Otherwise, what you're seeing right here is a full...
for the people that are using Google, it's available on the Google Play as well, right? Perfect.
Thank you. I know my mind is always in Apple, so thank you. All right, so what we're looking at is a full user view of the system. So with that, you're seeing every different module that's available in SAP, all of the different functionality at a full user level. But with SAP's flexibility, you can really tailor this to the needs of different users, or to your specific business needs as well. So for instance, maybe my company is not necessarily using service or, maybe some production functionality. We can really simply uncheck those here in our form settings, and you can see on our main menu, we start to really simplify what we need navigationally. And then probably the most, the thing that's sticking out the most here is the cockpit. So again, this is tailored on a user by user basis, and it really gives you access to the information that you need on, a day-to-day basis in a really simple cockpit interface. So for example, I use these common functions all the time. Instead of navigating through the menus, they're easy enough to navigate through, but I really like to see exactly what I'm using on a day-to-day basis and be able to click and open those forms straight from my home screen. It also has here not just pretty numbers, but the ability to do things with those pretty numbers. So for instance, I log into SAP, I'm starting my day, and I want to look at, what invoices that we have outstanding that need payment on those invoices, and maybe, send them to a colleague and have them follow up or things like that. So what I can do here, I have this little widget. It's very useful for me day to day. And I can click there. I see I have 29 open invoices. But once I click there, I'm able to, it pops open this report here that's showing me a detailed overview of all of my different AR invoices. I can sort if needed. So maybe I want to sort by due date to see some that are maybe close to becoming due or overdue. And I can see in this case that there's one, here that actually is overdue. It's past its due date. And as you can see, it's a fairly large invoice. So this is something that, we really need to get in contact with the customer, see when payment is expected to be received. That's something that could definitely impact our cash flow. So we want to, take some action on that. So in this case, as you can see right there, anywhere that you have those golden arrows, you're able to drill down. So all I did here was click this golden arrow. It drilled down into the invoice, and now I can see details about this invoice. In this case, maybe I want to send a note to my colleague, Oren, and say, hey, Oren, can you follow up on this? I can open up my conversation here and, send him a little note there. It looks like right now he's not online, but you'll start to see as users are online, you're able to send them messages, and we'll pop that back open. There we go. All right, so please check with. So I'm going to tell them that. I'm going to say, hey, please check with customer on the payment of this. And I can actually send this right to the conversation. So there's that little button up there. I have the invoice open, and now I'm sending this right to the conversation. So that way, as Oren logs into SAP in the morning, he now sees that he has a message from me telling him to check in on this invoice, and he can actually click right in there and again, drill down and see the details. If he wants to give them a call and see about payment there, we have this, fancy little functionality called the tooltip preview. So what that does is it allows you to highlight some information that may be really, really helpful to you without having the need to drill down. So for instance, as I'm looking at the contact person, or as Oren's going in to follow up for payment on this invoice, instead of drilling down into the details of that, he can just simply put his cursor right over there. He sees address, telephone number. We can tell if they're in New York, East Coast, this is a good time to call, or shoot them an email. And he can do that without even having to click another button there. You can also bring data in right from your conversations here. So for instance, maybe I wanted to send Oren a sales order that we need to follow up on, get a delivery scheduled. I can go ahead and send him that and send multiple if I need. So we'll pop back out, and actually I'll just go ahead and close all my windows there. So that was just all of that functionality came straight from one button click right on my home screen. And like I said, I really, tend to work right off of this home screen for the things that are most important to me. If you have users that have more specialized functionality, so you maybe have some, in your finance department, of course, they have different needs than, your sales manager. So you have lots of ability to customize these dashboards really easily through drag and drop, picking the KPIs that are most important to you, and then creating different cockpits here for your different users to show them what's most important to them. Beyond that, we can also do lots of other things just from this dashboard. So let's say, clearly here, this is telling me my top 5 best-selling items, and clearly, this is selling quite well. Maybe I want to look at this similar item and see, what we can do to boost sales for that as well, or just, understand where it lies in the system, what kind of transactions it's involved in. So right from that graph, I can right click and search this item. And this is what's called the enterprise search in SAP. So I call this kind of our little internal Google search. And what this does is looks throughout the database and finds everywhere in SAP where that item is relevant. So you can see we have item record there. We also have some AR transactions that we can drill into and start to make take some of those same actions and you know, from there. So for instance, a delivery, maybe we need to go in and invoice all of these. We can do that straight from this enterprise search. And then production AP. So it's really looking throughout the system, finding everywhere where that item lives and presenting that to you. That's also available here through this little magnifying glass. You can start to search anything in the system. So maybe I'm searching Oren to see you know, what all transactions that he's on. Maybe he's living in my employee master data, so I can drill down and see information about him, update his employee record, and see some sales opportunities, for instance, where he's the salesperson there, and I may need to follow up with him on those. Otherwise, the last thing that I wanted to drill in and show here on the cockpit is the capability to open what's called the Customer 360. So just like we have a cockpit for each of our employees with information that's most important to them, we also have what's called the Customer 360. So we're going to look at Earthshaker. That's my top customer, and you know, really valuable to be able to see a high-level view of information about this customer. So straight from the get-go, we can see, you know, relevant high-level information like phone numbers, email addresses, postal addresses, things like that. But then we also start to see, you know, more business-type information. So things like our open service calls. If we're doing service with the customer, we can come in here. We see a high-level overview and understand that, you know, we may have some service calls that need a resolution. We also have sales, order fulfillment, and receivables, where you're able to see, again, data in there that you can then drill down and take some action on. These are all very flexible, just like our home cockpit. And so you're able to add any tabs, any other kind of widgets that are important to you on these and update them that way. So in terms of anything we've covered so far, feel free to ask any questions in the chat and we'll be happy to answer them. Beyond that, so beyond just the kind of user interface and being able to simplify the look and feel of SAP, it's really easy to, you know, beyond just the menu items and things like that, the navigation, really easy also to update any of the information or verbiage in the system. So for instance, all of these menu items can be updated to fit jargon that's relevant for your business. SAP is really used across a variety of different industries, and they understand that. So they have that flexibility of being able to update any of these menu names. Even as you go into your different forms, you're able to update any of these field names as well really easily. And it looks like we did have a question on the chat. So Tyler asked, is there any particular add-on you need to have the dashboard appear on your home screen, or should this be automatically available in SAP Business One? So that's a great question. Thank you for asking. The cockpit, and everything that you're seeing today is available out of the box with SAP. However, we're using the HANA version, which I think, Tyler, I think you guys are on the HANA version, so you should have this right out of the box. And in that case, there is just a little setup or just a little enabling of the cockpit. You can see right here, mine's enabled. It should be under your general settings, but feel free to shoot me a message afterwards and we can make sure that you guys have that set up. But yeah, otherwise, everything else that you're seeing is just right out of the box. Perfect. So beyond beyond these reporting capabilities that you see on, on your main cockpit here and what we have in the Customer 360, SAP is really unique in the way that it has lots of different capabilities for reporting and analytics. So it's, really extended throughout the system, and we'll show that on the sales order and some other things. But I did want to show one of the functionalities that I really like, that I tend to use quite a bit, which is called Excel reports and interactive analysis. So especially for companies that may be moving from, another system or an Excel type of setup into SAP, this can be a feature that's really nice in that it'll help you feel comfortable in an area that you're comfortable in. So if you use Excel quite a bit, this creates a real-time connection between SAP and Excel. That way you're able to still do your analysis in Excel for these different reports, but you're doing it with the most up-to-date information coming from SAP. So for example, let's say that I want to take a deeper dive and understand kind of my sales, right? Sales analysis. So what I can do, there's right available out of the box is the sales analysis report. Once I clicked it over there in SAP, it's now popped open this Excel sheet and has everything organized from a pivot table. So it creates this really easy interface to just be able to select different values. In here, let's say I want to see my net sales amount. And let's say maybe I'm interested in understanding net sales amount, not just, we could see it by customer, which is great information, but maybe we want to see it more so by our business partner groups. So to see which different customer groups of ours are making us the most money. In this case, we split it up by groups, and we can see that our high tech is really our, our biggest value group. Then we have some other ones, production, distribution, small accounts that are kind of our smaller groups there. We can also take a look at that by maybe country or state to see where we have, have the biggest impacts of our business, or take a look at it by quarter. So in this case, we can see just really easily, we have a downward trend there. So now we understand, hey, there's a trend. What can we do to make a difference here and start trending upwards? So lots of different options available just in that simple report there with sales analysis. But beyond that, you can see there are quite a few other options that are available for our Excel reports and interactive analysis. Another functionality that's really kind of unique to SAP Business One is this query generator. So a lot of other systems you may run into might not have the capability to, all of your data is in one place, but you might not have really the capability to access all of those, back-end tables and fields and all of that. But SAP allows you to do that. So not in the sense that we're changing anything at that back end level. SAP is still fully auditable, GAAP compliant, all of that. But in this sense, it's allowing you to get that data from your database. So we'll just take a look at this simple simple query or report generator here. So this OCRD table, that's my business partner table. So let's say I, really want to be able to create a little report for myself that's telling me information like what's my business partner name, my customer name there. I also want to, pull in my contact person, their telephone number, and see account balance and credit limit. So what I'm going to do with this, my goal really is I want to be able to create a report that, then I can send to myself or send to my colleagues, maybe on a daily or weekly basis, so that we can always just keep an eye on where our customers are standing. SAP has a lot of functionality for, or safeguards as you're doing transactions to let you know if they're reaching their credit limits. But it may be nice to be proactive in this case, and that's something, you know, that I want to be proactive and to be able to kind of keep track of those account balances and be able to have, you know, maybe one of my coworkers call a client if their account balance is getting a little bit high and help settle that. So all I had to do there is just pull in that table. You can see it's building everything for me, so you really don't need to know how to do any programming or anything like that. And we can execute that. And now you see right off the bat, we have all of this information about our business partner. We can save that here, and I've actually already saved a query there with our BP info, but we can save that there. And then now this is available in our library of different queries or reports that we can run to see that information that's important. Again, another thing that I like and that's been useful for a lot of our clients is seeing average days to pay. So it's a really simple, quick report. And now it's telling me, you know, all at a different document level, what we're seeing in terms of our document totals, our balance due, all that good kind of stuff. So you can see our little messages and alerts window just popped up. So I have this alert set to run and give me that BP information that I was talking about. So in this case, I have it sent to myself, but you can include as many users in that alert. And we didn't go through setting up the alert, but that's a simple process, and we can take a look at that if you'd like. But otherwise, I've set up that alert beforehand. It runs on a daily basis, and you can see right as it comes into my inbox, it's alerting me that I have that new report to see, and I get all of this information. I can start to check it out, do any kind of sorting right in the inbox. So maybe I want to take a look at, you know, my customers with or vendors with the highest account balance, and you know, give them a ring. So it's coming right in, and I can take action on that. These little queries can also be used not only to create alerts, but also to create any kind of approval processes in your system. So SAP has really robust functionality for approvals. You can do things as simple as just, you know, if a document total is over a certain value, you want manager's eyes on that to be able to provide an approval. Or any other kind of more complex scenarios. So it's really, really robust, and you can use these queries to kind of create that logic. You know, if a certain field says a certain thing, or what have you. And then they can also, those queries can also be used to create these KPIs. So out of the box, there are quite a few. There's a library of different KPIs and graphs and things like that that come straight out of the box with the system. Here's our library. You can use all of these as soon as you deploy SAP. You can use all of these, pop them right on your dashboard, and you have that. But you can use those queries that we were just showing to be able to create new ones. So you're not just limited to what's available out of the box. All right, so otherwise we'll go ahead and jump into some of the more maybe transactional pieces. So this is our high level overview, but in terms of actually doing transactions in the system, you can see here, we'll start with the sales order and just take a look at how this looks. So in this case, this is my latest sales order. You can see that it's already been closed, so it's been delivered, invoice, the whole process has gone through on this, but we get visibility into the details of that sales order. Let's say maybe in this case, it's a closed sales order, but I really, you know, I want to make sure that both pieces have been delivered, or want to see maybe some more information there. So we'll pull in that delivered quantity. And that's as easy as it is to kind of update the interface even on a document level. So what I did there is show the delivered quantity. So SAP allows you to do multiple deliveries. Let's say, you know, on a sales order, one may be delivered one day and one piece may be delivered another day. So you can see at that document level, you know, what's already been delivered. In this case, everything from this order has been fully delivered. We can also check out the relationship map. So straight from that document, you're able to drill into what's called the relationship map and understand the full flow from start to end of this document. You can see things like our business partner, the delivery that was processed, the invoice, and all the way to the payment. And you can drill into these straight from this relationship map. So we can see that little checkbox. It's telling us that it's paid. We see the incoming payment that was posted. Everything looks good. But if we did want to drill in and see more information there, we are able to always drill into those documents straight from our relationship map. You can also see lots of other views of this relationship map, like posting details. In this case, our sales order is not a financial or financially transacted document, but something like our invoice is. So in that case, we could see posting details, any kind of related items or reference documents or things like that. So lots of different views there, but it really shows the auditability of the system from front to end. You're always getting that visibility and audit trail of where things are in your system. Beyond that, maybe we want to see, hey, has anything been updated on this, or anything like that, and just have a trail here. Again, for auditability's sake, we have this change log. So right now we can see that there's only one line in our change log. That means when we created this sales order, we added it, nothing has changed. Now, if I do make a change, let's say I add some remarks on this sales order, I can go ahead and update that. And then as I look back in this change log, you can now see that there's an additional change log instance here that's been added. It's also giving you full visibility to exactly who did that change and at what time and date the change happened. And you can show the differences. So it'll tell you your previous value, your new value. You can see that there's been an update there. That also helps any kind of delivery date changes or things like that. May be really helpful to have an audit trail of that. Beyond that, you can also double click on any of the history instances, and you get a picture of what that document looked like at that point in time. So you can see here, this is my first history instance, so what the document used to look like before I had updated those remarks. All right, so beyond this, wanted to just take a look at some of the other, we'll go ahead and start actually creating a sales order so we can see some of these other analytics capabilities. We'll go here to our recommendations. All right, so we've just added a customer to our sales order. You can see the way that I did that, just searching in this customer field and finding who, kind of picking from my list of who I want there. Another option that we can do, maybe we're looking for Earthshaker. I can start to type in that information and it'll give me that dynamic list that's updated so I can find exactly who I'm looking for. And then as I type that in, you may have noticed over here on the right-hand side, we start to have these sales recommendations. So SAP is a really smart system, and one of the many benefits of that is as you start transacting in the system, it's starting to use its computer brain to learn about kind of learn and track trends and things like that. So for instance, for this customer, it's seeing that they generally order these items, or they may order them frequently, and so now giving you those recommendations to add them to the order. So then, as this customer is calling you and looking to place an order, that you may already have some of those items that they frequently order right here, and then you can add them really easily to the sales order. Beyond that, you can also search for other items. So for instance, we can do really similar process to what we did searching for the customer, but we can go in, search for the items that we want and add them there. And then from, from the time that we added this customer to the sales order, a lot of this information you may have seen is populating automatically. So things like our contact person, or if we're looking over here at, our ship to and bill to information, we can start to see that, this is all being pulled from one place. So there's no need for additional data entry. It's all being pulled from our business partner record here. It's also pulling any kind of accounting information or relevant payment terms for that client. And once everything looks good, you've added your delivery dates. So maybe we actually, might have everything in stock or something like that. We just say, hey, we're going to go ahead and deliver today, and we can add our sales order. In this case, we have a little bit of some smarter functionality that's been enabled in the system. So what this is doing is telling us kind of some delivery schedule details. So based on these different items that we've selected for the sales order, we can look at things like available to promise. So do we have enough in the system to be able to actually fulfill this sales order? You can see through all of these different transactions, we actually, for this specific item here, that P2002, we actually don't have enough available in stock. You can see we have some on order, some are committed to different orders, and that's leaving us with a deficit in stock. With that information, we can either move out our delivery date for this specific item, or we can take a look here. Where are we? There we are. So our delivery schedule details. All right. In this case, we're just going to go ahead and add it, and then we'll look at that that other functionality there. So here, what this is doing is giving us the option to automatically send an email after we've added that sales order. So again, right out of the box, you can set up things like that. So maybe once you've added a sales order to the system, you want an email to kick off to that customer to send an order acknowledgement, letting them know that you've processed their sales order. And you can set that up for really any document in the system, any kind of transactional document. So the other thing, once we've added this sales order, we could see that that pop-up was telling us, hey, we really don't have enough to fulfill what's needed for this sales order, and especially not by today's date. We have, only 40 in stock, and we have all of these other orders that items have been committed to. So what we can do is look in on that item, and SAP has this delivery schedule management that again comes right out of the box and lets you kind of prioritize your different deliveries. So maybe Earthshaker is a really important customer of ours, really big volume customer, and we want to fulfill at least some of that order with what we have on hand, or maybe we have more flexibility with other clients to be able to prioritize this order. So through this, we can kind of remove some of the confirmed quantities or committed quantities that are being committed to those other orders, and take those and now commit them to this sales order. And that way give us a little bit of flexibility and insight into how we can make this delivery work for our very important customer. All right, so that was the kind of sales order or transaction side. We looked at our available to promise, that delivery schedule manager, and how we can see the relationships from that relationship map. Again, feel free if you have any questions, pop them in the chat. Otherwise, just wanted to end with a couple of more important reports to, again, give you that insight that you need into what's happening with your business. So one of them, we mentioned that Earthshaker was a really important customer of ours. So I want to take a look at, their record, their business partner record, and just get some more insight into their account balance and do some analysis on the sales side of things. So what I did there is, you can see right here we have these little graphical buttons. So if you click on that on the account balance side, it's launching what's called our sales analysis report. And this is giving us detailed insight into all of the different invoices that we have for this customer, and kind of trend of what their sales are looking like, both quarterly and monthly. We can also view that in different graphical formats to see trends at a higher level, or things like that. And then of course, as we're kind of doing our analysis, looking at all of this different information, again, we can drill in and start to take action. Beyond that, we have that available also for the delivery side and any sales opportunities that you're managing. So in this case, you know, these are some different sales opportunities with a current client of ours. We can drill straight into that and then start to, you know, have meetings with our sales employees to understand the status of these different opportunities. So we can see there's a couple, you know, that are going through a design development phase, and, you know, that's great. Those seem to maybe be moving along, or for us, that's considered a later stage in our business. But you can see there's this one here that's kind of sitting in the quotation phase. So from that, just from, you know, migrating from our business partner, looking at those opportunities and seeing this, this can give us a good clue to say, hey, I think I should talk to my sales guy and understand why that's still sitting in our system as an open quote. We don't want to leave money on the table or business on the table, so we can take a look at that, see what's going on, and see if we can push that quote into an order. All right, and then last but not least, just wanted to take a look at our cash flow forecast. So there's a couple different ways that you can get to that. Here you can see I just searched my menu up here. I do use that quite a bit, and it's actually not in my common functions. So instead of having to search through my menu, I'm just going to pull that right over into my common functions. That way I can access it really easily. We also have that available up here in one of those, one of our fancy little buttons that we can launch this cash flow forecast. So either way that you do it, once you launch it, you get a really intelligent report that's giving you a picture of your cash flow over a dynamic amount of time. So in this case, I'm looking at, you know, about a 6-month period of time from April through September, but that's variable. We can always slide this up here, adjust what we're wanting to look at, and even, you know, make our time period a little bit smaller if we're just looking at maybe the next few months. And again, also in this case, see it on maybe a week-by-week basis as well. Beyond that, it's giving us insight into our incoming and outgoing amounts. So we can see at a glance, in this case, week by week, what we're expecting for incoming cash flow versus any outgoing payments that we're needing to make, and what that net value is, and how it's affecting our cash flow over time. It's giving you down here, so you have that graphical view. You can see at a glance what that data is, but in order to kind of dig deeper into those details, it's giving you this same data in a chart format. So we can see things like, you know, maybe our AR invoices. Again, if we want to drill into those and see a similar type of report that we saw in the beginning, you're able to drill in and review those. And most importantly, or maybe not most importantly, but nicely, there's this configuration here. So the way that we have our cash flow forecast set up right now is based on different transactions having different levels of certainty. So what that means is, you know, for instance, when we post an incoming payment, we are at the highest certainty we can possibly be that is going to turn into money, basically, right? You're getting an incoming payment. That's as sure as you can get that's going to be money. Again, also with your cash accounts, any money that sits in your cash accounts, that's fully certain that that's cash affecting your cash flow. But as you go down in certainty levels here, you can see credit card payments. We're fairly sure, but maybe we don't want to put that as certainty 1. Checks, there could be a few that may have issues processing. So as you go down the certainty levels, you can start to see that where those documents are sitting, and really easily update the certainty levels to what fits your business. So for instance, for our clients, we really, for AR invoices, it's not 100% certain, but I would, let's put it at certainty 2. So in our line of business, our customers pay their invoices, we can put that as certainty 2. So what that does, as you move these around the different certainty levels, we can go ahead and save that. Now what that does is allow you to run your cash flow reporting dynamically. So maybe you want to see a more conservative view of cash flow with really just some of your highest certainty sources of cash. You can run it at the higher level over here and really see, what am I looking at for those incoming and outgoing payments in the cash accounts. But as we move it to lower certainty, we get to see kind of more of a liberal view of the cash flow with some of those lower certainty accounts. And, compare those two things and you get an idea of your cash flow there. You also have options for what you want to be included in this cash flow. So things like recurring postings, or maybe you have any sales or purchasing blanket agreements that you wanted to include in there. So within that, we can always include these different recurring posting and transactions. And you see, as we start to include those, our cash flow forecast is going to be updated to include those different things. Perfect. So otherwise, this was, just our high level view of SAP. If there's anything else that you have questions on or want to see, feel free to pop it in the chat. Otherwise, we'll just jump back to our presentation over here to give you some resources. So if you do want to learn more about SAP, you're interested or need any kind of demos or resources, we'll be putting out this information along with the write-up of the presentation. And feel free to check out any of these links. Of course, always, feel free to reach out to us at Pioneer or check out the SAP Business One page with SAP. You can also look at some more detailed demos of, functionality specific to financials or inventory, or read different success stories of our customers. Again, if there are any feedback or questions, feel free to share those. And otherwise, if you want to learn more or have any other questions, feel free to reach out to Oren or myself, and we're happy to help.
Thank you, Beth. Thank you for excellent presentation today. And like Beth said, if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. Happy Friday and have a great weekend all.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Tyler.
Thank you.